Tune in to the MacMan Morning Show.
Hold up. Man, this is one of the hottest talk radio shows this side of the Mississippi. We're talking about the MacMan Morning Show, Mondays through Friday from 9 a.m. to 10:20 a.m. Man, get you some on WKRA 92.7 FM. Man, beat me there. Don't meet me there.
It's the MacMan Morning Show. It's the MacMan Morning Show. It's the MacMan Morning Show. It's the MacMan Morning Show.
Sitting at home when you're in your car. It's the MacMan Morning Show. No matter if you get far. It's the MacMan Morning Show. You better tune in quick or you might just miss. It's the MacMan Morning Show. The best show this side of the sea. It's the MacMan Morning Show.
It's the MacMan Morning Show. It's the MacMan Morning Show. It's the MacMan Morning Show. It's the MacMan Morning Show. It's the MacMan Morning Show. It's the MacMan Morning Show. It's the MacMan Morning Show. It's the MacMan Morning Show.
Good morning to everyone. Good morning, good Thursday morning. This is the MacMan Morning Show. Good morning to you all. I'm James Mack. I'm your host, and we'd like to welcome you this morning. Good morning to all of you on WKRA 92.7 on your FM dial, our transmitting headquarters for places all distributing our wonderful show around about and to our YouTube audience. We'd like to welcome everyone in the chat. Good morning to each and every one of you. As I say each and every day, I am grateful and thankful that you gave us an opportunity to share with you on this wonderful day. I'd like to say good morning to each and every one of you. There's a lot of things that we have in store. There's some reports that must be done today. Inspiration. Someone asked me about inspiration, and I said to them, well, it's to give you the push or the initiative to go forward in what you do. With joy, with happiness, to have a sense of feeling that, hey, I know that I can do it, of confidence. We believe in you, what you're doing. Inspiration. Inspire people to vote during this time of great upheaval around the world. Our country is on the brinks of making history. I just believe that. I believe that this morning. I got no doubt in my mind. So when I see the antics of the person with makeup on, I don't get discouraged. My fight is inside of me, and I wanted to, and I will, and I want to be able to share with you some experiences that have come about in these last 24 hours within the state of Mississippi. There's some things that are happening. I believe, just like anyone else, I'm going to only say what I know, not what I think or anybody has told me, but from my own preliminary research and investigation, I've found some things out. And there's we'll talk about that on the other side. I'd like to say good morning to, I said what I said, our wonderful chief correspondent that's here. I'm going to get to the weather. Let me make sure that I got this together. I'm learning some new things on our system, and I'm grateful to be able to know the technology. I'm going to get with our social media editor, Mr. Brother Ryan, to help me on some things. I'm up to something. Good morning to everybody. I hope everybody's doing well. Thank you for sharing with us this morning. I said what I said. Good morning to you, ma'am.
Well, good morning, James. And good morning to everybody on their way to work. And good morning to everybody that's in the chat. How are you doing today?
All is well. I'm above ground, and it's just a wonderful thing. We must move
Wow.
on and do that we must do. Brother Lee is on his way. Y'all already know he's got to get wired and get himself in his the position that he needs to be in. We'd like to say good morning to Dr. J, our executive producer. Also, like I said before, Brother Ryan, who is our social media editor. We'd like to say good morning to all of you. Good morning to our new correspondent, guest correspondent, that's going to be helping us with the Dalton situation that's going there. We have an actual person that's actually there that will give us updates. There was some things going on I was going to do about last night, but I will bring that up later. It's some stuff going on. It's really wild. We got to keep our eyes on them. We want to thank everyone, Miss Britton, and everyone that's working up there on our behalf. I'd like to say good morning to all of those trustees that are there, all of those that are participating in the elections coming up. Diane Black is going to be in the community, folks. She's going to be there. And we're going to talk about that real quick after the, like I said, after the weather. Right now, folks, this is trick or treat. Y'all know y'all going out and doing all these things, knocking on people's doors. Don't toilet paper nobody's house and do no damage. You know, we never did that as children. We didn't play no tricks on people. If we didn't have any candy, we knew the houses to hit. You got to know the houses to hit. Yeah, you know the last year that they wasn't doing anything, 9 times out of 10, they ain't doing nothing. And if the porch light is off, if the porch light is off, don't go to them folks' house beating on the door. And be very careful. Watch your children. Go out in groups. Please have cell phone and flashlights available because we don't know what people, where their minds are. And those of you that are in our chat, you can bring and give us some advice, some things that you would like for us to pass on to our listeners about the experiences of this. And we'll talk about the Yeti trick or treating. Rain today. We're experiencing some rain this morning. Some showers will be occurring right about now as we came on the air, and it will stay. We need to just stay alert for the rapid changing events. You know, rain should be ending late tonight with mild weather ahead for us on Friday, the first day of November. Did I say September? I said September. Lord, forgive me. November. And it's near 70, but we might have some showers ahead. It's some good football weather. Right now, we're looking at San Antonio and Coldwater. We're looking at 68 degrees to 69 in Olive Branch and in South Haven, and it is 71. It's the warmest place right now in our region, in the Memphis, Shelby County, and the Holly Springs, Mississippi area at WKRA at 71 degrees. We like to say good morning to each and every one of you that are here. I got a sports story. Everybody was hollering at first that I didn't have a sports story, but I do have a sports story, and I'm not much of a fan of a lot of things and a lot of people. Now, I'm a Bears fan. I like the Bulls. They okay. I became a Cubs fan because I was at White Sox Park, and I thought that I would go around and see anybody drop a ball, or it was a ball. You know how they do their training and everything there, and knock a ball out of the park or something. And I thought I could get one. Well, I was met by a resident of Bridgeport. If those of you that know Chicago, you know where I mean. There's a dividing line. I think it's right in the middle of State Street almost, or something like that, where on one side you have where the famous Robert Taylor homes were at one time, and you on the other side you have Mayor Daley's, Richard J. Daley's neighborhood of Bridgeport, back of the yards areas back there. So, but that's a long time ago. I'm a Cubs fan now. The Dodgers won the World Series. Yes, the Los Angeles Dodgers beat the New York Yankees, and we'd like to congratulate the Dodgers organization. I know I don't have a dog in the hunt, y'all, but I'd like to congratulate them on their win that they had. Those of you that know history, the Los Angeles Dodgers used to be the Brooklyn Dodgers. And when they were the Brooklyn Dodgers, Jackie Robinson played for him. He was the first African American black man to play in major sports, in that major sport, and broke a whole lot of glass ceilings that these professional players from around the world now can come to America. Yeah, make a great living, millions and millions of dollars and endorsements and everything with a ball and a bat. We need to salute the spirit of Jackie Robinson and all of those, Satchel Paige and the rest of those that have gone on from the Negro Leagues that made the way for this to happen. I just wanted to bring that up because a lot of people just don't know that part, that the Dodgers were the Brooklyn Dodgers at one time. They were, before they moved the franchise to LA. All right. Now, voting is very important, folks. And then you're wondering why the MacMan is talking about voting all the time. There are some irregularities, not in voting, but in the way that some of our potential candidates are doing what they do in the community. I got a report, and I was trying to update, and I'm only going to report on that I know. There was a breakdown in communication somewhere with these campaigns, and in order for people to know what's going on and what's happening, you got to convey your message. In other words, the visibility of candidates are not there like they used to be on both sides. They used to come out and ask you for your vote, or they have people that will, I like the approach, and I know that some people don't, of door to door. You come to my door, knock on my door, I represent such and such and such and so, and I'd like your vote. And 9 times out of 10, I don't know, you never know, you might impress me so that I'd go out and vote for that person. Diane Black has a visibility team that she put together and put together along with various persons that I don't have authorization to mention their names as of yet, that have been experiencing, have the experience of getting boots on the ground in the 1st Congressional District. Very, very successful campaigns twice that they've had in the Democratic sphere. And I had put the alert out, and I'm glad that Diane Black, who I'm praying and rooting for, y'all just don't know, I feel it, that she's going to be the next Congresswoman of the state of Mississippi. But I also rooting for Brother Ty Pickett. He'll be on here tomorrow, and there's some things that we need to convey and let him know what's going on, because if you don't get DeSoto County, you will not win the state of Mississippi, not in a statewide race. And there are people that are prepared to hit the streets. Candidates, when you vote, when you're running for office, you're not running for office to build wealth of any kind. I'm not saying anybody is doing it. When people give, they give for you to put people on the street to get your message out. Let that be some wisdom. Get your message out to your voters and let them know what's going on. I'm dedicated to driving and pushing everyone to become active in voting. And which brings me to this next point that I'm going to make before we get to our first story, that on November the 5th, starting at the time the MacMan Morning Show will come on at 9 o'clock, we will start our election day coverage with the MacMan Morning Show leading off. Periodically, we will be coming back and forth on live radio and on YouTube, giving you updates on what's going on or any breaking stories during election time. There are going to be some marches to vote in Holly Springs. We're going to carry that live along with my co-anchor, which will be Raven Autry of WKRA, who is the president and CEO. We're going to be anchoring election day coverage together. So the MacMan Morning Show and WKRA combining together with our correspondents in various places will be reporting on the events of this historic election. This is one of the most historic to me. I've seen quite a few, and I witnessed Barack Obama being elected. Witnessed Harold Washington being elected the first African American black mayor of the city of Chicago, which was something that I will never forget in my life. The energy, and I saw that we could come together and what power we have with our vote. Our vote is powerful. If you don't think your vote is powerful, why do you think they're trying to suppress our vote and suppress us? And we're going to talk a little bit about those things. You're listening to WKRA 92.7 on your FM dial. This is the Mac Man Morning Show. I'm James Mack. I am your host, and we're just going to delve into our first little bit of story that we do have. I want to check this out and see what people are doing around the country, and we'll talk about it on the other side.
We are beginning with some breaking news tonight. We've just learned that several mail-in ballot applications have been found as fraudulent in Monroe County, and it comes on the same day as we learned about a federal investigation into political flyers that were dumped in a trash bin in the Poconos.
2822 News I-Team reporter Andy Michalczyk has been working these stories. He joins us live in the studio. Andy, what have we learned about these fraudulent ballots tonight?
Well, Nick and Cass, the story is unfolding even as we speak. The Monroe County District Attorney Mike Mancuso says an investigation now underway into voter registration and mail-in ballot request forms that were received in the county last week. Mancuso says the Monroe County Board of Elections, as it carried out its regular review of voter registration and mail-in ballots last week, identified about 30 irregular forms. Those forms were then segregated and sent to his office for investigation. That investigation found several of the forms have been found to be fraudulent because they were not authorized by the persons named as applicants. In at least one case, according to the DA, the named applicant on the paper was deceased. The investigation has also found that several of the fraudulent forms have been traced to a specific person. The DA probe thus far found that a company called Field and Media Corps, a subsidiary of Field Corps, an Arizona-based company working out of Lancaster County, in turn, was responsible for submitting those forms to Monroe County officials. The broader investigation, according to the DA, continues with reference to Field Corps' involvement. The Monroe County DA is also working with the State Attorney General's office and says a further update will be made in the next day or so. Now, anybody with information about this matter is asked to contact the Monroe County District Attorney's office. You can read the entire DA statement on our website, pahomepage.com. Now, we did reach out to Field Corps for comment. We will let you know when and if they respond.
And we'd like to thank PA homepage for that video that they submitted and allowed us to use. We're looking at, they're pulling out all of the stops, folks, and they're doing the opposition and the persons that do not want democracy to go forward are pulling out all of, they don't want us to go forward. They're doing everything that they can, and everything that they're betting on enough people that will come out and decisively bring that person back. I don't believe that it's going to happen. I mean, with these, I mean, here people are going to the extent of submitting fraudulent ballots. People that are dead, they talking about, and they, you know, the thing that really gets me is you go through all of that painstaking work thinking that it's going to work. And I'm glad, and my hat's off to the election workers that detected this and they followed up on it, because it's there. If it wasn't for our civil servants, folks, I don't know what would happen. Good morning to you, Brother Lee. I didn't have the opportunity to say hello as you came into the studio. I want to know, Brother Lee, we're looking at a lot of things that are going on, man, with these tricks and things that are happening. Does it seem like the people in the Orange Man's camp are nervous or something while they're doing all these things? I'm asking you. Okay. Hey, Lee, are you there? Okay. If he comes in, then he can come in. I said what I said. Come on with it. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Okay. Go ahead, Lee. I was waiting on you.
Great day, everyone. I like to say,
Great day. Great day.
I like to make a clarification first. Jackie Robinson wasn't the first black in the major leagues. You can look that up. You can check it. He wasn't the first.
Okay,
Actually,
set me straight. Yes, sir.
Actually,
Go
there were
ahead. Go
black
ahead.
folks in the Major League Baseball until they banned black folks out of the league. See, we were there. And then
Oh.
they banned us out of the league, just like hockey league. We was one of the first to have a professional hockey team, in Canada. But until they segregated us. So there's things about our history that we don't know. And Jackie Robinson, I say, he was one of the first. He was far from the first. But he's
I
the
stand
one we
corrected.
remember.
I do stand corrected on that. I stand corrected.
Go
Go
ahead. To
ahead.
get back to what you were saying, are they pulling out the stops? Yes, they are. They're not pulling out all the stops because they still got some stops to pull. Don't think this is the thing that they're gonna do and it's gonna be this is gonna be it. They got plans up their sleeve that they may do, that they will try to do to disrupt and confuse and poison the well. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's the poison the well to can create confusion, slow the process down, and create some kind of problems where the election doesn't go through as planned. They doing whatever they can. They got how many days? Less than a
It's
week.
5.
They have 5 days, and to them, they're nervous. They're scurrying around. They've been working on this plan for over 4 or 5, 6 years. This is not a plan that they come. Go ahead.
Okay, no, if you give me an opportunity, hold your thought, Lee, and I didn't mean to stop you. This is WKRA 92.7 on your FM dial. I will make up this time. This is the MacMan Morning Show. I am James Mack. I am your host. We're going to go and do our first commercial break right quick, and then we'll come back on the other side and continue our discussion Brother Lee had just started. Once again, this is the MacMan Morning Show.
Baghdad is far from the Mississippi Delta, but I've lived in both. I'm Ty Pinkins, born and raised in the Delta. I served 21 years in the Army, including 3 combat tours. As a lawyer, I stood up for Mississippi families being wrongly evicted in the middle of winter and for workers who were cheated out of their pay by big businesses, and I won. Now I'm running to represent Mississippi in the U.S. Senate. As your senator, I will fight for better paying jobs, including increasing the minimum wage to $15 an hour, affordable health care, and equality education for our children. On November 5th, I'd be honored to have your vote because your voice matters. Paid for by Ty Pinkins for Congress.
Tune in to the MacMan Morning Show.
Hold up. Man, this is one of the hottest talk radio shows this side of the Mississippi. We're talking about the MacMan Morning Show, Mondays through Friday from 9 a.m. to 10:20 a.m. Man, get you some on WKRA 92.7 FM. Man, beat me there. Don't meet me there.
If your locks ain't right and your twist is on limp, you know. Get over to Keisha Studio. Specialized in locks, natural hair, and extensions. When your hair needs that special attention, make Keisha Studios your next decision. Located 3964 Goodman Road E, Suite 122 in South Haven, Mississippi. Call 901-650-9487 for your appointment at Keisha Studios. You know.
You know, back in middle school when they taught us it was 3 branches of the government. We forgot it when we got older. It's the judicial, the legislative, and executive. But all we know is the executive. That's the mayor or the governor and the president. Now none of them 3 people make no laws. They just be checking them. The laws come to their desk and all they do is say no or yes to it. So when the news station tried to tell us that Barack Obama couldn't put us on, we was all salty at Obama when it was the Congress members all along. We gotta focus on the legislative branch. Yeah, they the ones that make the laws. Yeah, they the ones write how much food stamp money you get on the card. But when people that wanted to help us wanted the job, I know they probably lost. Cause we ain't even know their name, we ain't know their face, we ain't know it all. So the Congress or the State House, that's legislative, they make laws. So what we want from the president is what they do. Okay, y'all? See, they election every 2 years, but we don't ever even go to those. The Congress, they can raise minimum wage, but we ain't even really know it though. So you know how back in 08, when we all voted for Obama, we was all supposed to go back in 2010 and vote for the Congress. Cause they the ones make child support laws. They the ones choose if your kids at school get to eat steak or corn dogs. The State House make the court costs. So if the country failed, then you can't say it's them, it's your fault. Cause y'all ain't know to vote for Congress members that was for y'all. And they don't gotta leave after 4 years and we just let them sit. See, they don't wanna tell you this, they want you to focus on the president.
And we're back on WKRA 92.7 on your FM dial. This is the Mac Man Morning Show. I am James Mack. I am your host. Good morning to all of you. Hello to all of you. We want to thank you. We have not forgotten about Diane. I got something special that I'm getting ready to do. We're going to make sure that we do get her played. We'd like to welcome the future Congresswoman of the state of Mississippi. We'd like to say hello to her. She is going to get with us. She is out there on the campaign trail doing that she does. Good morning, Alice. I want to say good morning to everybody. That's one of our moderators along with Penelope. I need those instructions again because I did something wrong. Alice, if you can email them to me, I can get that situation taken care of because we do have election coverage coming on the 5th and we have to get things together. So we're going to be getting that production together and we'll be talking about that. Don't forget about our sponsors. We like to thank them for their help. We're moving higher and higher. We're getting ready to do that we do. And if we stick together, we don't know where we're going to go, but we know that the trip is going to be well. Fasten your seatbelts because we're here. This is the Mac Man Morning Show, WKRA 92.7 on your FM dial. I'm here with our wonderful panel. I said what I said, our chief correspondent and Brother Lee, who is our chief contributor, always having wonderful words. And Brother Lee, you were already into the conversation before we had our break. Continue, sir, at the point that you were making. And then I said what I said. Any thoughts that you would have on this? This is just something else. Go ahead, y'all.
Oh, I was just saying that yes, they're trying to create confusion, and kind of dilute the process enough where there's going to be a situation where it doesn't go smoothly. We have to prepare for this. They've been at this for over 6 years. They've been planning this, throwing everything against the wall to see what might stick. And that's what I have to say.
I said what I said.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is part of the setup. It's all supposed to formulate together. And like he said, it's not going to be the only shenanigan that they pull. And so we just need to buckle up and get ready for it. When they get ready to holler voter fraud or they stole the election, this will be a part of the process that they'll use. And they'll put it all together like a PowerPoint and play it on TV as a commercial, show you all the different situations that happened during the election. And I do have to say, this is the very first time that I've seen so many shenanigans, so much election fraud per se, alleged election fraud. And it appears that they're just looking for it. They're creating all their own problems and then they're looking for it. It's the same thing like the Orange Man say. It's always projection. whatever he
Yeah.
spew out of his mouth is something that his team and his side has already done. And so,
Mhm.
we just got to get ready for it because, like he said, it's going to be more to come. So just sit back and watch and see what happens.
We have 5 more days, folks, 5 more days before we go to the polls, 5 more days before we choose a new leader that will lead our country. We're at a apex, and I don't want to make it sound like it's doom or gloom, but then again, it's very, very serious because we're going to be in one or two situations. First situation we're going to be in if we select in this process is we're going to be under dictatorship. Project 2025 is the publication that the person with the orange makeup said he had no idea about, yet he is spewing out detail after detail about what he's going to do and what the new administration is going to do. They said within the first 180 days, they've given us the playbook. There should be no questions. There should be no doubts in your mind where these people are going to go. I do not want to live under anybody's dictatorship. I know that the United States of America is not perfect. I know that we got a long way to go, but I don't want anybody else coming in telling me that, hey, you have no right to speak. You got no right to say. You got to bow down to a person. No, I don't even want to even go through that. Our forefathers and our families and our ancestors went through that. And imagine what they had to go through without the internet, without email, without text message, without cell phone, without all these computers and tablets. And they didn't have none of these things yet. And still in all, we become crippled to things that we are around about us. They did more with less than we are doing with more. We're doing less with more. And I don't know where the spirit of people are. I know that people are in opposition to change because they're used to the systems that they live in. But this is 2024. And I just wanted to throw that in there. There's a decision that's been made by the Supreme Court on a voting matter in Virginia. We're going to look at this clip right quick and we'll talk about it on the other side.
The U.S. Supreme Court allowing a Virginia program to continue that purges voter registrations believed to be from non-citizens.
Yeah, this reverses two lower court rulings blocking the program. 10 News anchor Samuel King joins us now. Samuel, did the justices give any reason for this decision?
No, the 6-justice majority led by Chief Justice John Roberts did not do that. And that is common in what are known as emergency appeals cases like this one. But the 3 liberal justices on the court actually dissented, an indication they would have denied the state's request to reinstate the program. Now, a federal district judge in Alexandria ruled on Friday that the Commonwealth broke federal law when it purged 1,600 people believed to be non-citizens from the voting rolls. The U.S. Justice Department and a coalition of interest groups said there was evidence that not only was the timing of the program illegal, but also that citizens and longtime voters had their registrations revoked simply because they made a mistake on the DMV form. But Governor Glenn Youngkin said today there are ways those voters could still cast a ballot.
And the great thing about the process that we have undertaken now for 18 years is that if there was a mistake, then the person is granted 14 days to respond and say, no, I am a citizen. And if they fail to do that and they are removed from the voter rolls, you can still same day register and cast a ballot. And so you are never precluded as a citizen of America and Virginia from voting.
A federal appeals court had blocked the program, agreeing with the plaintiffs that it violated a 90-day quiet period when it comes to voter rolls ahead of elections. Attorney General Jason Miyares called the ruling a win for common sense and a win for the rule of law. Well, voting by non-citizens has been found to be relatively rare in the country, and a federal law that says violators can be fined and imprisoned for up to a year and also deported.
We want to thank WSLS in Virginia for that report. As you see, even though that the voter rolls have been purged, and even here in this region, and I'll start this one off a little bit, there has been some purging of the rolls. If you have not been an active voter, meaning that you haven't voted in the past elections. They take they look at it and they look at your voting record, and based on your voting record, they purge. They have they have the power to purge the roll. But what they have done in recent times is people that have been active voters participating in municipal, state, and federal elections have been kicked off of the voter rolls. Well, the solution, and I'm glad that Virginia has this, and I wish this was all over the country, that you can same day register if you qualify and have the qualifying documents to register to register and to vote at the same time, right where you are. If you have the proper documents, you can vote, even if you've been kicked off. And you can prove that you're a resident and you can prove that you're of age and have all your documents, you can vote right there. The problem that it is around the country. And I go back to Mississippi because voter suppression is so deep here. The voter suppression goes deeper than the Republican Party or people that don't want us to vote, but there are actual people that are in the African American community that do not want you to know what you need to know about voting, or your vote doesn't count. I watched the person that always says voting doesn't matter. You don't have to vote, man. Your vote don't matter. Why you bothering with that? And why you doing this? And why you doing that? While they're sitting in a cesspool of despair and want you to be there, your vote is still valuable. There are some elections that I've seen that votes were just as close as 10 to 11 votes separated the winner. So your vote does matter. Get off your tail. Let's vote. Everybody, we're going to vote. But now, as we were listening to this purging, it seems to me, I said what I said, that people don't know how valuable their vote is. Why is it that people, that you see what they're doing to try to get you off the rolls? They know that if you're on the rolls, that you got power. What's going on with these situations that's going on with these clerks putting people off of the rolls? You know, I mean, I know it's a dirty trick, but it's got to be more to it. We must be on to something as far as voting. What do you say?
Yeah, they just don't want people to vote. And I guarantee you, I don't have any proof, but I guarantee you it's more
Well,
Democrats
I would
being
say
purged.
that yes, the harder they're trying, the
Wait, Lee,
more you.
you stepped you stepped on. I said what I said, Lee. Go ahead. I
No, go
said what I
ahead.
said.
So I was explaining that I don't have any proof, but I guarantee you this probably 95% of those people that was purged were Democrats. And they're looking for all type of ways to do voter suppression, and this is just another form of it. Why are you taking people off the voter rolls, whether they vote or not? You don't take people off of any other registration. Sometimes, even if you go bank at a bank, they still have your information from 20 years ago. So, what's the use in taking people off of the voting rolls? It's not hurting anything. And if they vote 1 year and don't vote for 5 years, what difference does it make? They're still a registered voter. So it's just another way to try to, for them to win because, like I said, they're not the majority anymore. Most people don't really vote Republican anymore. Anytime we have any election, the popular vote always outwin the presidency, especially when it's on their side. And so, they know that their party is dying. Nobody really want to participate in their process. So they have to use different mechanisms to try to win. And that's what I want to say about it.
All right, brother Lee.
Well, I like to say this real quick. Sister Said makes a great statement. I really understand it. I appreciate it. And the thing, a question I would like to say to all of us, as far as this registration thing and they purging you off because you haven't voted maybe the last cycle, is that if they're doing registration, why don't they do birth certificates? If you only documented your birth certificate one time, why don't you document it every year? Why don't you give it some certification to your birth certificate? Because I mean, you only did that one time. So how are you gonna put a caveat on voters registration when you prove that you are a citizen the first time you voted. So why would they purge you off something that you already qualified for? That makes absolutely no sense at all. You're already qualified that you voted, that you are a citizen, and then they say because you don't requalify every cycle, you're not a citizen. So that goes for everyone. I mean, you know, that's silly. That's inane, and you know, it's asinine for them to say that. So that's what I have to say.
You know, the trouble that people have, and not people. Well, the trouble that I have is this: as much as people have been sacrificing for the right to vote, from the Southern marches, from the city of Chicago wanting voters' rights and housing rights everywhere, every community of color always have a problem with living conditions where we are. They want to put us in the box. They want to still create places or put us in isolation, like we don't live here, we don't produce here or anything. You said something about citizenship. Now, you had to qualify in order to vote. They still got you in the system, but they say that you're inactive. You're still a citizen of this country. Ain't no death certificate or anything like that, or anything fraudulent going on. They just cut you off. And 9 times out of 10, like I said, what she said is that it's usually people of color. It has happened. I mean, just taking people off the rolls. And it's just got to be some kind of reform done. Something's got to be done on the national level to straighten this situation out. And I mean, it's just really ridiculous. Listen, you're listening to WKRA 92.7 on your FM dial. This is the MacMan Morning Show. I'm James Mack with our panel, chief correspondent. I said what I said, and chief contributor, Brother Lee. Listen, we're going to take a quick ID break, and we will be right
Ain't nothing
back.
wrong with getting your funny on with MacMan Morning Show very own Mr. Lee.
When I was a kid, Mama looked at you before you got in the stove. She looked, I don't want no. You don't put your hands on. You don't ask for shit. We ain't eating. We wait till we get home. But kids now, it's like, look, you know what you do in school, you know? He got a note saying that he's allergic to peanut butter, he's allergic to jelly, he's allergic to bread, he got gluten-free, he gave me this, he gave me that, and then he got a note saying he got DDT, ADT, or really, or whatever. He can stand on tables, he can do whatever he's going to do. What kind of is that?
America, we are not going back. We are not going back. We are not going back.
I don't know about you, but I'm not going back. If you're not going back, vote Diane Black. Again, if you're not going back, vote Diane Black for U.S. Representative, 1st Congressional District of Mississippi.
November 5th, 2024. Vote Diane Black.
Paid for by friends of Diane Black.
And we are back on the MacMan Morning Show. I'm James Mack. I am your host, and I want to just remind you that Election Day is fastly approaching, and we have a special broadcast on November the 5th, starting at 9 a.m. with the MacMan Morning Show. We're going to be kicking off our coverage on the election, the historic day. We got 5 days, folks. We got 5 days before we go to, or you all go. I've already voted for the country to go and to cast your vote. If nothing else, cast your vote then. Don't be afraid, cast your vote. Get on out there and do what you need to do, and let's get out there. Diane Black, folks, will be out in the 1st Congressional District. She's already been out there, but there's a tremendous push for her to come to various places. I'm going to be out there doing a remote. I'm going to go live from many of her locations. I'm going to travel with her and we're going to go live. So stay tuned, YouTube channel. And those of you that are listening by WKRA, you can always reach us on the air at the McMahon Morning Show. Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel when you get home and when you get away from or to your various devices. And those of you that are on now, please like and share. And we're going to go forward. We're going to help Diane. We're going to be out there with her this weekend. Remember, Mr. Ty Pickett is coming on tomorrow. He's going to be talking about the state of the campaign, what's going on, how things are going out there, and probably ask us some questions that some of the people have had here in the 1st Congressional District. He'll be here. We're rooting for him also. Listen, we're here with our panel. I said what I said, and Brother Lee, and we're just discussing some things that we have, and we are going to go to our full break at a later time. I wanted to make this up while we had an opportunity to, but I wanted to comment on something that I might want to go to this video first. To our audience, you know, we're stressing the fact about the things that the orange person is doing. And I mean, when we go off the air, there's so many things that are going on and that's happening and that he is doing, but we're not trying to give Keatons and cretins over to him, but we want you to know about the things that he's up to and what's going on and how just diabolical things are. But we don't have to tell you who he is and what he does. You see what he does. But I'm going to go to another story right quick to break the ice. But I'm going to come back to talking about, again, our 5 days away from Election Day. Let's look at this next clip that we have.
Learning at least 2 people charged in a teacher cheating scandal are set to face a Houston judge at any moment. Here's the deal. They're accused of taking money from people struggling to pass their teacher certification exam so someone else can take the test for them. Anieli Ruiz taking a closer look at these allegations tonight. Anieli?
Well, 3 of the people arrested today were HISD employees, and we're told the ringleader or the leader, the alleged leader for this entire scheme, was a longtime basketball coach at Booker T. Washington. Tonight, 57-year-old Vincent Grayson is facing serious charges after investigators say this longtime basketball coach at Booker T. Washington started a scheme to help people who could not pass their teacher certification exam by letting them pay someone else to take it for them.
The kingpin and organizer of this scheme.
Here's how the Harris County District Attorney's Office says this scheme worked. The teachers would pay Grayson about $2,500. He would allegedly share some of that money with Tuana Guilford Mason and Duran Welty at the testing centers so they could turn a blind eye and let someone else take the test for the teachers. Investigators say the person taking and passing the test was Nicholas Newton, an assistant principal at Booker T. Washington High School.
In fact, when he was caught red-handed in February of 2024, he was logged into one test. He said to investigators, well, look at the screen behind you. And he was logged in as a different person, taking another test on another terminal that same day.
Also charged LaShonda Roberts, the assistant principal at Yates High School, for allegedly recruiting teachers for the scheme. Investigators say in 2023, the TA became aware of the irregularities and patterns of these teachers who failed the test.
They then drove sometimes 4 or more hours to the Houston area, and suddenly they were passing the test with flying colors.
Meanwhile, HISD said they condemn this behavior and say,
if any teacher currently working at HISD passed their test through fraudulent means and has a passing Texas score that was obtained through fraudulent means, their contract will be terminated.
In the meantime, investigators say 2 of those teachers with fraudulent teacher certificates have been arrested for even more serious crimes.
At least 2 sexual predators who, once falsely certified, had access through their employment to underage kids on campus and off.
Well, investigators tell us that in all, these suspects made about $1 million. Now, we do know that about 20 teachers have come forward and confessed. We also know that over 200, they believe, may have been involved in this entire ordeal. As for those 3 HISD employees, we've been told they've been put on paid administrative leave pending all of this investigation. And of course, investigators want to hear from you. If you have any information that could help their case, you can contact the DA's office or Crime Stoppers. Reporting live, Anayeli Ruiz, KHOU 11 News.
Still a lot to sort out here. Anayeli, thanks for the update.
Wow. Now, you know something? We talk about the election. We talk about so many other things before we go to our final break of the day. And I just want to keep fresh on your mind. These are the people that are in our children's schools. These are the people that, unlike, and there are several teachers in our chat that's a part of our show that can be, and many that I do know that are in the educational system that see this cancer that's going on. It's okay to speak out, like I said, about national issues, but right here, I've known there's a situation here in Mississippi that this happened, but we're going to talk about that on the other side of our commercial breaks. You're listening to listening to WKRA 92.7 on your FM dial. This is the MacMan Morning Show. I'm James Mack, your host. I'm here with our wonderful panel. I said what I said, our chief correspondent and our chief contributor, Brother Lee. We'll be right back with discussion about what we just listened to on the other side of our commercials. We'll be right back, folks.
Attention WKRA listeners, if you would like to advertise on the MacMan Morning Show, please leave a message at macmedia3@gmail.com.
Left, right, left, vote, left, right, left, vote. Your mama, your daddy, they vote. Your sister, your brother, they vote. Your mama, your daddy, your sister, your brother, they need to get out and vote. Your mama, your daddy, they vote. Your sister, your brother, they vote. Your mama, your daddy, your sister, your brother, they need to get out and vote.
This is a call to all Americans. On November 5th, 2024, you have a chance to be heard. Make your voice known. Vote. It's your turn.
If your locks ain't right and your twist is on limp, you know. Get over to Keisha Studio. Specialized in locks, natural hair, and extensions. When your hair needs that special attention, make Keisha Studios your next decision. Located 3964 Goodman Road E, Suite 122 in South Haven, Mississippi. Call 901-650-9487 for your appointment at Keisha Studios. You know.
Baghdad is far from the Mississippi Delta, but I've lived in both. I'm Ty Pinkins, born and raised in the Delta. I served 21 years in the Army, including 3 combat tours. As a lawyer, I stood up for Mississippi families being wrongly evicted in the middle of winter and for workers who were cheated out of their pay by big businesses, and I won. Now I'm running to represent Mississippi in the U.S. Senate. As your senator, I will fight for better paying jobs, including increasing the minimum wage to $15 an hour, affordable health care, and equality education for our children. On November 5th, I'd be honored to have your vote because your voice matters. Paid for by Ty Pinkins for Congress.
America,
Baghdad is far from the Mississippi Delta.
We are not going back. We are not going back. We are not going back.
I don't know about you, but I'm not going back. If you're not going back, vote Diane Black. Again, if you're not going back, Vote Diane Black for U.S. Representative, 1st Congressional District of Mississippi.
November 5th, 2024. Vote Diane Black.
Paid for by friends of Diane Black.
And we're back on the MacMan Morning Show. This is WKRA 92.7 on your FM dial. I'm James Mack, your host. I'd like to welcome all of you from around the country here in our region within Mississippi, Arkansas, Alabama, Tennessee, lower down there by Louisiana, and then we'll say hello to our wonderful friends over there in Texas, the southern region that we're in. You got the North Boy in the southern part of the city. But let's not forget our people up north. We do have information that's going to be coming across about the situation, continuing saga or situation that's happening in the village of Dalton, Illinois. There is some information that we're going to be sharing at another time this week before the week is out. I would like to give you a heads up. We will be on the air this weekend doing various things. I'm not saying that there's anything planned, but we might at any time. You never know. So the MacMan Morning Show will give you a advance alert that we're going on live, and we will put out some information during the weekend. We're going to be canvassing and also going out with the future Congresswoman Diane Black on Saturday. We're going to be going out with her and her full crew. She has a full crew of people that are going to be hitting and blazing and just letting you know the word is already out, but it's good to have an advance notice. So the MacMan will be on scene or on, I'm doing my old general reporter duties again, be on live on the scene. I'm carrying my camera out there, my microphone, and I'm going to shake the dust off of myself and do some interviews. I hope to see you all out there, WKRA, when we do hit Holly Springs. I'll be over there. I hope to see all of you. I haven't seen people in Holly Springs in a long time, and I need to go say hello. And our headquarters, our transmitting headquarters, WKRA 92.7 on your FM dial, is home. Is headquartered in Holly Springs, Mississippi, and it's going to be good to see y'all. I might stop by the station, say hey, and wave at you and everything. You never know. So, but I will be out there. Back to what we were talking about, and as we go into our final phase of our broadcast today, with just 5 days to go, we got this problem that has with these teachers. And you say, James, you say, well, what does that matter? People in your schools matter. Your school boards are up for election. I think some of them are next year or so, whenever. In Chicago, a whole school board, Mayor Johnson, yes, I'm hollering up there, the whole school board resigned. That means billions and billions of dollars that are supposed to be allotted to the children of the city of Chicago and the biggest school district, one of the biggest school districts in the country. I think it's the second largest. Their whole board just left. Now we have this situation where people don't take the time to go to school to get the training necessary to deal with children. Just say, can you get me a job if I can get and pass this license test just to get a check? And I'm saying this. Public school system is already under fire from these states, especially these states that call themselves red. They're trying to cut all of the money out of the Department of Education from giving it to public school districts. And now they're trying to do, especially here in Mississippi, they're trying to take public school money and give it to the private schools as a, how do they say, they call them vouchers of some kind. You can take that public school voucher money, it's money that goes, your child's money for your child's education will go to the academies instead of going to the regular public schools that are suffering. They need repair. Some need leadership. And a while ago, there was a teacher scandal here, and one was in Atlanta, but there was one here in the state of Mississippi where a man, I knew him, and I'm not going to mention his name or anything like that because that's not what I do, was taking tests for people, and they were certifying They were certified. He's in prison now. I think he is, or he gotten out or something. Come from a well family and everything, and was taking tests for uh, various people that didn't qualify. I mean, people got licenses that could not even do first grade uh, math, and they just put them as special ed teachers. As long as you're a teacher, you get that benefit. And it's just terrible how these school systems are suffering. So what I'm saying is, I said what I said, and to Brother Lee, you all have children and things like that. You know, what is your what I mean, you know, you expect your children to have qualified individuals that are instructing them. And then when you hear this coming from the now you ought to know it was something wrong, the basketball coach. And then he got the instructors, the people that were administering the test, he paid them off. Y'all go down the street, get you a soda, or you go get you a Subway or something. Here's $1,000 and let these people take this test. And even after the man got caught red-handed doing it, he tried to lie his way out of it. What do you think about this crisis that we're having, not just in the country, I said what I said, but on the local level in the schools? What do you have to say about that?
Well, I think it's a disgrace. Like you said, the schools are already down. You know, they're already poor. The buildings are desecrating. They're not really putting any funding in the schools. And now we have this scandal going on. And I guess, you know, they didn't see the college scam that went on with the Stars a couple years ago. And if they can go to jail, I don't know why he don't feel like he can go. But this guy did make over $1 million with this scam, because it's been going on for a minute with over 200 people.
Yeah, you got plenty of money. That's plenty of money there.
Yeah, I looked into it a little bit further, and he was getting $25 a head for every person that he took.
$2,500, not $25. $2,500.
No, $2,500. No, $2,500 per person, and then he was splitting it in it with the assistant principal. And how you going to be an assistant principal? You know, why would you even take that chance of messing up your whole career that you worked hard for, if you worked hard for it? So my opinion, did you actually graduate college, since you helping out with this scam, him and her?
Well, he's a basketball coach at the Booker T. Washington. Shame on, and that he bringing disgrace to the man's name, Booker T. Washington High School, and you cheating these folks.
What I'm saying is, did he act pass his test, since he, you know, got this scam going? So now I want to question everybody's credentials, is what I'm basically saying. Is he really an assistant principal, and is he really a real school teacher? And so the kids are the ones who have to suffer, and the school system itself have to suffer. So if you got to get rid of 200 people, how are you going to get other, you know, you can't just get a teacher and throw them in there. I mean, now, so they're going to have all these substitute teachers, and the kids are still not going to be able to learn anything. And so, you know, this is like maybe the third or fourth scam that I've heard of. They had one in Florida with nursing doing this, you know, doing a fraudulent license. And so this is an example of what the computer can do for you. The internet can be your friend, or you can use it as fraud. And so I don't understand why people are trying to pull scams these days, because the technology that we have, you may have the technology to pull a scam off, but they also have the technology to catch you doing your scam. So that's what I have to say about it.
You say somebody going to jail. Somebody going to jail. And Brother Lee, I mean, here this brother is, if he can rig all of this up and do all this, he could have been a tutor to some of these people that needed tutoring with this license thing. And I'm not just knocking the brother. I mean, they knew what they were doing. I ain't got no sympathy for them. And they got a lot of dough for this. As I said, what I said that they got some plenty dough on this. What you say about this, Brother Lee?
Well, I would say this. There's a will. If there's a will, there's a way. And Sister said was saying that you know, they have technology to catch these people, and then on the other hand, they got technology to beat that situation. As fast as you can come up with a lock, they can come up with a lock picker to pick that lock. So, and that's the thing. The technology is technology. It's technology works both ways. And that's one thing we have to come to grips with. For every lock, there's a there's a safe cracker that can crack it. And people do this because of greed. People say, why do they do it? It's money motivated. And it's not morally motivated or immorally motivated, it's money motivated. And that's why they do these things. Somebody come up with an idea on how to get money, and this is what they come up with. And people say, well, why come they can't be? You got crooked up police officers that have gotten on the police force fraudulently. Somebody's giving them a pass. And you got people at businesses that have been in a position and they didn't get that position by their deeds, by their efforts, by their knowledge. They got a position because of who they know. So, I mean, it's all around you. We can point to the teachers, we can point to the firemen, we can point to the garbage man, we can point to the people on your job. There's always someone or some bodies that have gotten in a position that they did not earn. That's what I have to say.
You're listening to WKRA 92.7 on your FM dial. This is the Mac Man Morning Show. Listen, we have some participation from our chat. We'd like to thank everybody in our chat, the great educators that we do know that are there. We know that you're teaching and you're doing what you do, and you take high offense to this. But we'd like to also say good morning to our Dalton correspondent. Sherry Hatcher Britton is on the in the chat. We'd like to say good morning to you. We weren't going to bring you up to do no update on things. We'll wait for something else to come along. But she says that almost all of her tax dollars go to schools. And she says she's not sure if this is the case around the country. But that being said, the schools where she lives, they suck. Okay, well, a lot of them do. And she said her son had to go to private school because she had no choice. There are parents out there, I said what I said, and people that are so concerned about. I had public school education. A lot of people have had it. Michelle Obama, a lot of people have had. There's nothing wrong with a public school education, but in some of these areas, and I'll even speak about the rural areas in our region here, there are a lot of failing school districts. One, because of white flight, and that is that the people that were Caucasian, they left the area for various reasons because of properties and so forth. They just moved, okay? And it left some of these places destitute. They took the economy with them after living and being there. So the school systems that depend on that tax base, they depend on that money. I said what I said is having a fit because of the simple fact. And the simple reason is these schools that have chronic absenteeism, chronic or below standards that they're reaching, they're in the failing state as a school, not the students per se, but the school is a F. That's bad. If your school is F, that means you need some show enough rescuing. And y'all help me out in the chat with that. But I said what I said, the quality of education, it seemed like people are more worried about their school's football teams than to worry about the academics and who's teaching them. Am I wrong for saying that? Or if I'm not saying I'm wrong, but is my opinion out the door, or am I on to something maybe?
Well, at the end of the day, sports have always been the main focus of schools. We can thank George Bush for all of this. When he put that legislation in, No Child Left Behind, he left every child behind with that legislation that he pulled out. Ever since he did that, these schools are not teaching our kids anything. They don't do cursive writing anymore. They don't even go to school as long as they don't need. The hours are not even as long as they're supposed to be. They don't. They're taking history out of the class. They're banning books, and the kids are the ones that's suffering. These kids can't even make change from $1 at this point, and so it's like they want our kids to be dummied down, and we can blame Bush for that. These kids don't even do homework anymore. I'm asking my grandkids, where's your homework? We don't have homework anymore. You do your work at school now. So the schools have went down. And back in the day, it didn't matter about the tax dollars. They distributed tax dollars no matter what your neighborhood looked like. And it's always been a small amount. And now you have these teachers that's fake teachers. So, our kids, I mean, what the heck? What do they expect? How they expect these kids to be the future when they're not even teaching them how to live in the future. They're not teaching them any history. They're not teaching them any English. In my opinion, they're not teaching them anything other than to pass that test. And so when you say a school get an F, they're getting an F because they can't pass these task tests that they're giving them. And then in order to graduate, the graduation rate has went down in a lot of states because now you have to take a test that they've been teaching you for the last 5 or 6 years in order to get out of high school. And so when I was in high school, I had to write a paper. You understand what I'm saying? I had to write a
I
paper
understand.
in order to get out, in order to graduate. Now you have to pass the test in order to graduate,
Yeah.
which is ridiculous.
I had to pass the Constitution test twice. Well, once for 8th grade, which I did, and thank God for Schoolhouse Rock that helped me pass the Constitution test. I would have never learned that if it weren't for Schoolhouse Rock as far as that was concerned. That's educational, true educational television. Y'all look it up and Google it when I talk about old people stuff like that. It ain't old or anything. Cursive writing. Before I go to you, Brother Lee, listen, educators and former educators and people that got you just a parent, you know where I'm going from. They do not teach cursive writing. Let me explain what I'm talking about. On my end, I was at the DMV. I'm sitting there, and we're in the line, and the man says, "Sign your print and sign your name." So the young man and the young lady that was ahead of me, I thought they signed in there. I'm looking, they printed in both spots. He said, "Sign your name." So the man came back. I felt so bad for him. He said, "Sign your name." He said, the folks say, "I did sign my name." He said, "No, I need you to sign your name." They didn't understand it. I said, "These kids are not taught cursive writing." And the man with tears in his eyes, he said, "They don't teach kids how to read or write." I said, "Yeah, they teaching them how to read and write, but they're not teaching them cursive and how to sign." One of the most important things to me, folks, was your signature. Your signature means more than anything. That means it distinguishes you. Legal matters and papers and things. And you see somebody, they can, hey, sign your name. They print it. It's like somebody doing the X or something. Am I going nuts, Brother Lee, about the curriculum that's even taught in the public school system? They taking the money now and they say, "Well, these kids ain't doing good. I got to put my child in public school. I'd rather have a choice." Do you think that parents should go ahead and take the vouchers or whatever they have from the state and take it to private school systems?
Well, my brother, I'd say this. No, you should not. Because those teachers at those academies, what they call them academies, I call them factories, um, they don't have unions. A teacher can't strike if the conditions are not right. A teacher can't complain if they don't have the right books. The community has no participation because it's a privately owned institution. And the fact that, and I'll say this, how many of you listeners and viewers have been to a PTA meeting? I bet very little. I mean, you want to go to those meetings to see where your tax dollars are going. Even if you don't have any kids, you're paying taxes. You're paying for your schools. You complain about a voice outside the building, but you don't go into the building. You don't go into the mayor's office and tell them, "Look, this is what we want. This is what we demand." We can't beg somebody that's supposed to serve and protect us. We can't ask them for things. We have to demand things. We got to stop asking our politicians to do things and demand that they do it. They work for us. And see, it's like, who goes into somewhere and you pay money for a service and you don't get it, and they tell you that, "Look, this is the best we're gonna do." And that's the thing, the signature thing. Yeah, signatures mattered 10, 20 years ago, it really mattered. It made a difference because they had writing experts would say, is this person's signature? It looks like it. The E looks like that, and it matches that, and everything. Now, kids don't know how to sign a name, and so there's handwriting experts are no longer needed because they're not validating any kind of signatures anymore. They just say, make your mark, and you write.
Yeah.
And I see that makes a big difference, and that's what I have to say.
Wow. You're listening to WKRA 92.7 on your FM dial. This is Mac Man Morning Show. Listen, I have concerns. If I had an opportunity and a chance to interview various officials, my thing is, these are the things that we're thinking about. What is the future? What's going to happen with our nieces, nephews, grandchildren, children, or so forth and so on with this new generation of people that are coming? What government is going to be left for them? Are we going to leave them a government? Are we going to leave them something that they can survive and go on? One thing I hear parents say and used to say, and it used to touch me, that, I want to make sure you okay when I'm gone. And it really it resonates now more than ever. But I got questioned to my own self out of everything, and I think that we're at the generation, we're the new elders. If you're over 45, you're getting ready to hit 50, or you're in them, or those 60s, or whatever the case may be. We're the new elders, meaning that we're the people that got the sense from the folks that had the sense to bring it to the children and the people now that need the sense, that may not have made sense. But let me tell you like this. We have a responsibility, those of us that know what is right, and we're still not doing it, not preaching to you, not pestering you or anything like that. Brother Lee said something that was real interesting. How many of us go to board meetings? I'm just saying, let's say the board meetings. How many of us get an opportunity? I know that scheduling and things, and if you got multiple children and they're in multiple things, that's why, brothers, we got to get on top of things, because you got kids in gymnastics and kids in sports, and they got to go to music, then they got to go to dance, and then they got to go here, then they got to go there. You got to bake cookies for this group, and you got to do that, and then you got to make work, and your boss is on your nerves, and you having a fit, and then you get home for the weekend, you try to wind down. People are hollering and they screaming and they taking the remote, and I got to take my hats off to the parents, male and female. I take my hats off to you. It's a whole lot different than it used to be. What's happening in our classrooms, folks? What are we going to do? If you stand by 1 second, I'll give you an opportunity. What are we going to do with what we need to do? I said what I said. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead as we wind down. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, in our school boards now, I don't know what's going on across the country, but here in Texas, he said something about going to the school board meetings. Well, they're going to the school board meetings here, and guess what they're doing in the meetings? They're up there attacking the members of the school board. There have been several fights where people are just getting totally out of hand. It looked like one of those Dalton board meetings where you think something is just going to jump, one of those township meetings or village meetings where you think something is getting ready to jump off. That's how heated these meetings are getting. And at this point, some of these people have to, some of our school board meetings, they have to have security up there, because these parents are getting totally out of hand because they're going up there with this MAGA attitude. And so, something needs to be done. All these conspiracy theories are really hitting these parents, and these parents are really believing a lot of this crap that the Republicans are spewing out. And so we need to do better with our kids, because they are our future.
Yeah. Well, you're listening to WKRA 92.7 on your FM dial. This is the Mac Man Morning Show. Hey, I'm James Mack. I am your host. We just got through with a wonderful day of programming. We thank each and every one of you for sharing your time with us here on the McMahon Morning Show. For Dr. J, our executive producer, for I Said What I Said, our chief contributor, for Dr. and Mr. Lee, Mr. Lee, our chief contributor, our Dalton correspondent, Sherry Hatcher-Britton, and for everybody that's here. We thank all of you for being here on the McMahon Morning Show. We'll be back on tomorrow with a wonderful special program show to let you know how our weekend is going to go in our programming. The McMahon Evening Show is going to be premiering again, and we're going to be using that to help us along leading up to on Tuesday the 5th. For everyone here at the McMahon Morning Show, I'm James Mack, your host. I'm out of here. We'll talk to you at another time. God bless. Show your love to everybody, because if you show love, others will show love to you.
The best show this side